The message wasn't long. Just one sentence. And it wasn't meant for her. When Zara powered on her old phone after 5 years, she wasn't looking for closure. She wasn't looking for pain. She was just looking for old photos, something nostalgic, something harmless. Instead, she found the one thing that made her hands start shaking before her brain even understood why. The screen flickered to life slowly, like it was dragging the past back with it. The wallpaper was still the same, a blurry sunset at Clifton Beach in Karachi. The same beach where Ayaan had wrapped his arms around her from behind and whispered, "I'll never lie to you." Her thumb hesitated over the message's icon. She didn't know why her heart was already beating faster. Maybe because deep down, we always know when something is waiting for us. The phone lagged as years of old notifications loaded. Missed calls. Forgotten OTP codes. Bank alerts. Random promotions. And then, a notification from 5 years ago. Unread. Her breath caught. It wasn't from a random number. It was from Ayaan. But it wasn't sent to her. It was forwarded. Accidentally. The timestamp read 2:17 a.m. Zara frowned. 5 years ago. 2:17 a.m. That was the night before their engagement ceremony. Her chest tightened. She remembered that night clearly. She had been awake, nervous, smiling at her ceiling, replaying every memory of them together. She remembered texting him goodnight. He had replied, "Sleep, future wife." Her fingers felt cold now. She tapped the message. For a second, the screen froze, as if even the phone didn't want to show her what was inside. Then it opened. A forwarded chat. A conversation between Ayaan and someone saved as S. Her stomach dropped. She didn't recognize the name. The message he had accidentally forwarded read, "Don't worry. After the engagement, everything will be secure. Her father's property alone is worth more than I'll make in 20 years. Just a few months more. Trust me." The room went silent. It wasn't dramatic. No thunder. No cinematic music. Just silence. But inside her body? It felt like glass breaking. Her first instinct was denial. No. There must be context. There must be some joke. Maybe it was sarcasm. Maybe secure meant something else. Maybe. Her throat tightened. Her engagement had been called off 3 days later. He had said he wasn't ready. He had cried when he said it. She remembered that clearly. The way his shoulders shook. The way he couldn't look her in the eye. The way he said, "You deserve someone better than me." She had believed him. She had defended him when her father called him irresponsible. She had cried for months thinking she wasn't enough. And now. Her thumb scrolled up in the chat. There were more messages. More things she was never supposed to see. Her breathing grew shallow as she read another line. "Once it's transferred, I'm out. I can't stay married forever. But I need the engagement to lock things in." Zara dropped the phone. It hit the carpet softly, but the sound echoed inside her skull. Transferred. Property. Lock things in. He never loved her. Not the way she thought. Not the way he promised at Clifton Beach. She pressed her palms against her mouth to stop the sound that was rising from her chest. Not a scream. Not a cry. Something heavier. Something that felt like humiliation boiling through her veins. For 5 years, she had blamed herself. For 5 years, she thought she wasn't lovable enough. For 5 years, she avoided relationships because she believed she had been too much. But the truth? He had been calculating. Strategic. Cold. Her mind raced back to every moment. Every compliment. Every fight. Every time he asked casually about her father's assets. How many plots does Uncle still have in DHA? He had once asked, laughing like it was curiosity. She had answered proudly. God. Her stomach twisted. She stood up abruptly and began pacing her room. The same room she had locked herself in after the engagement broke. The same room where she had told herself, he left because you weren't enough. But now she realized something far worse. He didn't leave because she wasn't enough. He left because something better came along. Or because the plan failed. Her eyes returned to the phone on the floor. There were more messages. More details. More betrayal waiting to be uncovered. And for the first time in 5 years, Zara didn't feel weak. She felt angry. Not loud anger. Not explosive. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't scream. The kind that plans. Her reflection in the mirror looked different now. Her shoulders were straighter. Her tears had stopped. Ayan thought she would never see this. He thought 5 years was enough to bury the truth. He thought she had moved on. Maybe she had. But something inside her whispered a dangerous thought. What if he never moved on either? What if he thought he got away with it? Her phone buzzed suddenly. She flinched. A new notification. From an unknown number. Her heart pounded again. She picked it up slowly. The message read, I think you finally saw it. Her blood ran cold. The typing bubble appeared. And then disappeared. I think you finally saw it. Zara stared at the screen, her pulse drumming so loudly in her ears it almost drowned out her thoughts. The message sat there. Simple. Calm. Terrifying. Unknown number. No profile picture. No name. But whoever it was, knew. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard. Who is this? She typed it. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. No. If the last 5 years had taught her anything, it was this: never react while your emotions are loud. Her breathing slowed deliberately. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. She placed the phone on her desk instead of replying. Whoever sent that message expected panic. Expected confusion. She would give them silence. The typing bubble appeared again. Then a second message came through. He thought you'd never turn that phone on again. Her stomach tightened. That meant one thing. Ayan. Her jaw clenched so hard it hurt. The name felt different in her mind now. Once it had felt warm. Safe. Like home. Now it felt sharp. Like something that could cut. She picked up the phone again and this time, she typed. What do you want? 3 dots appeared instantly. Whoever this was, they had been waiting. I want you to know the truth. Her laugh came out dry and hollow. The truth? She had already seen enough to know the truth. Another message arrived before she could respond. I was S. The room felt smaller. Her eyes went back to the old forwarded chat. The contact name. S. Her throat tightened. You, she typed. Yes. And you deserve to know what really happened. Zara leaned back in her chair, heart racing again, but not from shock this time. From something else. Opportunity. Why now? She asked. There was a long pause this time. Longer than before. When the reply finally came, it was slower. Because he did the same thing to me. Silence swallowed the room again. Zara's mind started connecting pieces. If this was the same as from 5 years ago, then that meant this woman had been part of the plan. Part of the manipulation. Or part of something bigger. What do you mean? Zara typed. Another pause. Then. He told me he was marrying you for security. I was stupid enough to believe he loved me and that you were just collateral. Collateral. Zara's fingers trembled. Not from weakness, from fury. He said once the property situation was settled, he'd leave you and we'd start our life. Her chest felt tight, but her mind was strangely clear now. Every late-night call he had ignored. Every time he said he was busy with family. Every unexplained mood swing. She had been collateral. A stepping stone. A financial strategy. Another message appeared. But the engagement ended. He told me you found out and called everything off. Zara's eyes narrowed. That wasn't true. He had called it off. He had cried. Said he wasn't ready. Said he felt pressured. So why would he lie to this woman? Unless he needed to keep both narratives clean. To her, he was the guilty man walking away for her sake. To us, he was the victim whose plan got exposed. Two versions of the same story. Two women. Both manipulated. Why are you telling me this? Zara typed again, slower this time. The reply came almost instantly. Because he's engaged again. Her heart skipped. What? To someone very rich. The words felt like acid sliding down her spine. 5 years. 5 years, and he hadn't changed. He had upgraded his target. Zara stood up abruptly, pacing again. But this time, it wasn't confusion moving her. It was calculation. What's her name? She asked. Another pause. Then. Alina. Engagement next month. Zara walked to her mirror again. She studied her reflection carefully. 5 years ago, she would have cried. She would have broken. She would have begged the universe for answers. Now she felt something colder. Something sharper. Ayan thought he was smart. He thought he could manipulate emotions like numbers in an equation. But he forgot one thing. He underestimated the woman he tried to use. She picked up her phone again. Do you have proof? She typed. A few seconds later, multiple files came through. Screenshots. Voice notes. Chat histories. Detailed. Organized. Clear. Zara opened one voice note. Ayan's voice filled the room. Calm. Confident. Calculating. She's naive. Her father trusts me. Once the paperwork shifts, I'm untouchable. Zara closed her eyes. Her heart didn't shatter this time. It hardened. Why didn't you expose him before? She asked. Because I loved him, S replied. And because I thought karma would handle it. Zara's lips curved slightly. Karma needs help sometimes. There was a long pause. Then S sent one final message. If you're thinking what I think you're thinking, I'm in. Zara stared at those words. 5 years ago, she had been the girl who waited for justice. Now, she was the woman who could create it. She looked at the calendar on her wall. Engagement next month. Perfect timing. She typed slowly. Carefully. Let's make sure his next fiancé sees exactly who she's about to marry. The typing bubble appeared again. And this time, it didn't disappear. If someone tried to use you as a stepping stone to wealth, would you quietly move on or make sure the whole world knows exactly who they are? Zara didn't sleep that night. Not because she was heartbroken, but because her mind was finally awake. The files S had sent were still open on her laptop. Screenshots arranged in folders. Voice notes labeled by date. Even transaction hints, small gifts Ayan had requested from wealthy women under the excuse of business emergencies. He wasn't just opportunistic. He was systematic. Zara sat at her desk, legs crossed, back straight. 5 years ago she would have trembled listening to his voice again. Now she analyzed it. Tone. Confidence. Pattern. He always spoke softly when he was lying. Always lowered his voice when he was manipulating. She replayed the voice note one more time. She's naive. Her father trusts me. Once the paperwork shifts, I'm untouchable. Untouchable. Her lips pressed into a thin line. No one is untouchable. Her phone buzzed again. I did some digging, she texted. The engagement party is at Pearl Continental. Zara's eyes narrowed slightly. Public. Large. Influential families. Perfect stage. When? Zara replied. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. 4 weeks to dismantle a man who thought he was untouchable. Zara stood up and walked to her wardrobe. She ran her fingers across neatly pressed blazers and dresses. She stopped at a navy blue suit she had bought last year when she was promoted to senior legal advisor. Yes. Because Ayan never knew that part. He never knew that the girl he tried to marry for property went on to build something far more powerful. Influence. Connections. Authority. 5 years ago she was just someone's daughter. Now, she was someone people listened to. Her phone buzzed again. Sent another screenshot. Ayan texting Alina. You're different from the others. Zara let out a slow breath through her nose. The same line. Word for word. He had told Zara that exact sentence on a rainy evening outside Dolman Mall. Back when she believed uniqueness meant safety. Now she knew better. She typed to S. Does Alina know about us? No. Good. S paused. What's your plan? Zara didn't answer immediately. She walked to her window. Karachi city lights blinked below her. Cars moving. Lives happening. 5 years ago, when Ayan left her, she had felt like the world paused. But it hadn't. The world kept moving. And so did she. She turned back toward her desk. We don't destroy him privately, Zara finally typed. We dismantle him publicly. 3 dots appeared. You're serious? Yes. Her fingers moved faster now. We collect everything. Every voice note. Every chat. Every financial request. I want a timeline. And then? S asked. Zara's eyes flicked to the calendar again. Then we let his own words introduce him. There was silence on the other end. Then S sent. I knew I messaged the right person. Zara almost smiled. This wasn't about jealousy. This wasn't about heartbreak. This was about preventing another woman from being humiliated the way she was. And if, in the process, Ayan's reputation burned? That would just be balance. Days passed. Zara met S in person for the first time at a quiet cafe in DHA. S was younger than she expected. Nervous. Hands trembling around her coffee cup. You don't hate me? S asked softly. Zara studied her carefully. No, she said calmly. I hate the man who played us both. S's eyes watered slightly. He made me feel chosen. Zara nodded. He made me feel secure. 2 different lies. Same script. They exchanged everything. S had even saved a backup drive, a habit she picked up after she started suspecting him. Smart. Very smart. Alina deserves to know, S whispered. Zara leaned back. She will. But what if she doesn't believe us? Zara's gaze hardened. Then we won't ask her to. S looked confused. We'll let him speak for himself. The plan slowly formed over the next week. Zara used her legal knowledge carefully. No defamation. No illegal leaks. No tampering. Only truth. Organized. Timed. Delivered. Ayan thought he was strategic. He had no idea he had once been engaged to a woman who now specialized in corporate risk assessment and crisis exposure. The irony almost made her laugh. 2 weeks before the engagement, Zara did something unexpected. She sent Ayan a message. For the first time in 5 years. Congratulations. Heard you're getting engaged. 3 minutes passed. Then 5. Then 10. Finally, his reply came. Zara? After all this time? She stared at the screen. His tone through text hadn't changed. Soft. Measured. Calculated warmth. Yes, she typed. After all this time. Another pause. I hope you're well. She almost smiled. Oh, I'm better than ever. The typing bubble appeared and disappeared twice. He was nervous. Good. I'm glad, he finally wrote. I always wanted the best for you. Her jaw tightened. Of course you did. She sent one last message that night. I might attend the engagement. Foreclosure. His response was immediate. That's not necessary. There it was. The first crack in his confidence. Zara leaned back slowly. He wasn't untouchable. He was afraid of witnesses. And in 4 weeks, he was about to have an audience. If you had the chance to expose someone publicly at the exact moment they felt most powerful, would you wait for the perfect stage or strike immediately? The venue glittered like nothing could ever go wrong. Crystal chandeliers. Gold-draped stage. Soft instrumental music floating through the ballroom of Pearl Continental. Ayan stood near the center, smiling like a man who had won. Tailored black sherwani. Polished shoes. Confident posture. From a distance, he looked perfect. Zara watched him from the entrance. And for the first time in 5 years, she felt nothing. No ache. No trembling. No longing. Just observation. He laughed at something one of Alina's cousins said. That same laugh. The one that used to make her feel special. Now it sounded rehearsed. S stood beside Zara, gripping her clutch tightly. Are you sure? S whispered. Zara didn't take her eyes off Ayan. I've never been more sure. Across the room stood Alina. Elegant. Soft-spoken. Surrounded by relatives. Zara studied her carefully. She looked exactly how Zara had looked 5 years ago. Hopeful. Trusting. Unaware. Ayan's eyes suddenly scanned the room and then froze. He saw her. For a split second, his confident smile cracked. Just slightly. But Zara noticed. She always noticed details. He excused himself from the group and walked toward her. Slow. Controlled. What are you doing here? He asked quietly, smile still forced for appearances. His eyes weren't smiling. You invited me, she replied calmly. I said it wasn't necessary. And I said I wanted closure. He glanced around nervously. You shouldn't be here. There it was again. Fear. Zara tilted her head slightly. Why, Ayan? He swallowed. This is not the time. Oh, I agree, she said softly. The timing has to be perfect. His jaw tightened. S stepped forward slightly. Ayan noticed her and went pale. For a second, he couldn't mask it. S. She didn't respond. The music shifted. Guests began moving toward the stage for the ring ceremony. Ayan's fiancée was being escorted by her father. Cameras flashing. Applause rising. The perfect moment. Zara's pulse was steady now. This wasn't chaos. This was choreography. She leaned closer to Ayan and whispered just loud enough for him to hear. You should have deleted the voice notes. His entire body went rigid. What are you talking about? But his eyes betrayed him. Zara didn't answer. Instead, she walked calmly toward the event coordinator standing near the audio system. 3 weeks ago, Zara had made a donation to the hotel's charity wing large enough to secure cooperation. She didn't threaten. She didn't bribe illegally. She simply reserved 5 minutes of surprise presentation time under the guise of a tribute. The coordinator gave her a subtle nod. On stage, Alina smiled shyly as Ayan slipped the ring halfway onto her finger. The room applauded. And then, the lights dimmed slightly. The screen behind the stage flickered to life. Ayan's hand froze mid-motion. What is this? He muttered under his breath. The first audio clip began to play. His voice. Clear. Calm. Unmistakable. She's naive. Her father trusts me. Once the paperwork shifts, I'm untouchable. The room went silent. Not confused silence. Shocked silence. Alina's smile slowly faded. Her father's hand dropped from her shoulder. Ayan stepped back from the microphone. This is fake, he said quickly, forcing a laugh. Some kind of joke. The second clip started before he could finish. You're different from the others. I just need this engagement to secure things. Whispers spread like fire. Phones lifted. Cameras recording. Alina turned toward him slowly. Is this your voice? She asked quietly. Ayan's confidence cracked fully now. Alina, listen. But the screen changed again. Screenshots. Dates. His number clearly visible. Messages about property. About strategy. About leaving once assets were transferred. Each piece of evidence presented calmly. Methodically. Zara stepped forward finally, walking toward the stage. Her heels echoed in the stunned silence. She didn't rush. She didn't shout. She simply stopped a few feet from him. For 5 years, she said clearly, voice steady through the microphone someone unknowingly handed her, I believed I wasn't enough. The room listened. I blamed myself for a broken engagement. I defended you when my family questioned your integrity. Ayan looked at her like he was watching his empire collapse in slow motion. But the truth, she continued. You were never in love. You were in calculation. Alina stepped away from him completely now. Her father's face had darkened with rage. This is not what it looks like, Ayan insisted desperately. Zara tilted her head slightly. It looks exactly like what it is. Another voice note began playing. This time, one S had recorded recently. Ayan's recent voice. Alina's family owns 3 commercial plots. Once things move forward, I'll be set for life. That was the final blow. Gasps filled the hall. Alina removed the ring from her finger. Her hand didn't shake. She simply placed it back into Ayan's palm. Without a word. Ayan looked around desperately, searching for someone to defend him. No one did. Because evidence doesn't argue. It just exists. Zara stepped back. She didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She simply watched as the man who once called himself untouchable stood completely alone under a chandelier that suddenly felt too bright. Security approached quietly. Not aggressively, but firmly. Alina's father spoke to Ayan in a low, controlled tone that promised consequences far worse than humiliation. And for the first time, Ayan looked small. Not powerful. Not strategic. Small. Exhaled beside Zara. It's done, she whispered. Zara nodded slowly. No, she said softly. It's balanced. As they walked out of the ballroom, Zara didn't look back. 5 years ago, she walked out of her own engagement shattered. Tonight, she walked out whole. Stronger. And finally free. But before that, tell me this. Do you think public humiliation is enough punishment for someone who manipulates love for money, or should consequences go even deeper? The silence after revenge is different. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's heavy. As Zara stepped out of the hotel into the warm Karachi night air, the noise of the ballroom faded behind her, but the consequences had only just begun. Her phone started vibrating before she even reached her car. Unknown numbers. Old acquaintances. Family friends. Even distant relatives. The videos were already spreading. Because in a room full of wealthy guests, no one keeps their camera down when scandal happens. S looked at her, almost stunned. It's everywhere already, she whispered, scrolling. Zara didn't check. She didn't need to. She knew how society worked. Reputation builds slowly. It collapses instantly. And Ayan had just collapsed in front of the very people he needed to impress. They got into the car. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then S broke the silence. Do you feel better? Zara thought about it carefully. She searched her chest for satisfaction. For excitement. For triumph. What she found instead was relief. I feel finished, she said quietly. And that felt stronger than revenge. But Ayan's story? It wasn't finished. By morning, 3 things had happened. First, Alina's family released a statement. The engagement was officially cancelled. Second, a prominent business group withdrew a partnership deal with Ayan's startup. Because investors don't trust men who speak about relationships like transactions. And third, Zara received a message from him. Why? Just one word. She stared at it for a long time. Why? 5 years ago, she had begged herself the same question. Why wasn't I enough? Why did he leave? Why did it hurt so much? Now he was asking. The irony almost made her smile. She typed slowly. You taught me to verify before I trust. He didn't respond immediately. An hour passed. Then another message came. You ruined my life. Her eyes didn't even flinch reading it. No trembling. No guilt. You recorded your own voice, she replied. I just pressed play. This time, he didn't respond at all. Days passed. The backlash grew. Former colleagues of his started coming forward quietly, stories of small lies. Financial exaggerations. Manipulative tendencies. Nothing criminal. But enough to paint a pattern. A pattern investors notice. A pattern families avoid. Zara watched it unfold from a distance. She didn't push. She didn't add fuel. Because real exposure doesn't need repetition. Truth echoes on its own. 1 week later, she heard that Ayan had left the city temporarily. Too much pressure, someone said. Bad timing, someone else whispered. No one defended him loudly. That was the loudest part. Meanwhile, something unexpected happened. Alina reached out. Her message was simple. Thank you. Zara met her 2 days later at a quiet cafe. Alina looked different now. Stronger. Clear-eyed. I almost married him, Alina said softly. Zara nodded. I know. Alina hesitated. Did you ever love him? The question lingered in the air. Zara didn't rush her answer. Yes, she said honestly. And does that hurt? Zara thought for a moment. It used to. She held Alina's gaze steadily. But loving someone who deceived you doesn't make you weak. It means you were capable of something real. Alina exhaled slowly, like she had been holding that breath for weeks. You saved me, she whispered. Zara shook her head gently. No. You saved yourself the moment you removed that ring. They sat in silence for a moment. Not awkward silence. Understanding silence. When Zara walked out of the cafe, the sun felt warmer than usual. For the first time in 5 years, she didn't replay old memories in her head. She didn't analyze his tone. She didn't question her worth. Because revenge wasn't about humiliating him. It was about restoring herself. Weeks later, Zara received one final message from an unknown number. I underestimated you. No name. No apology. But she knew. She didn't reply. Some chapters don't need responses. They just need closure. That night, standing by her window, watching the city lights again, Zara realized something powerful. Ayan thought he was untouchable because he believed people would stay silent. But silence is a choice. And so is courage. She chose differently. And because of that, no one else would ever become collateral in his plans again. End. And now tell me. If you discovered someone once tried to use you as a stepping stone, would you seek revenge, or would you simply become powerful enough that they regret underestimating you?